So you're thinking about moving to Biddeford, Maine, and you're trying to evaluate some of the pros and some of the cons before you move. Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover in today's video. Some of the good and bad. We're not trying to be biased or sugarcoat anything. Some of the good and the bad of Biddeford, Maine to help you kind of figure out if the area is right for you before you move or relocate. Let's get into it. By the way, my name's Margaret, and if you want to know everything there is about living in Biddeford, Maine, make sure to subscribe below so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Southern Maine. If you have any questions at all about making the move to the area, feel free to give my team and I a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or set up a Zoom call. All that information's in the description below. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the affordable housing in Biddeford. So according to the City of Biddeford's website, their Affordable Housing Task Force back in January presented a report giving some ideas and suggestions about how to create and preserve affordable housing in Biddeford. Listed here are the 4 main bullet points of what everyone got out of that meeting. So we have the adoption of an inclusionary zoning ordinance, the creation of affordable housing initiatives, targeting affordable housing work to address the needs of those who make 80% of the annual median income, and creating and or preserving 900 affordable rental units from 2023 to 2028. Now, Biddeford is known to have a lot of affordable housing, but it's clear that they're trying to take initiative to help the people that have been living in the city for years and to help out those people coming into Southern Maine that are having a hard time finding places to buy or units to rent in neighboring areas. The next thing I want to talk about in Biddeford is the convenience of living there, the shopping there. Biddeford has a lot of mainstream stores that a lot of neighboring towns in Maine just don't have, such as Target, Walmart. They have an awesome Market Basket. They have a Home Depot, Planet Fitness, the YMCA, Goodwill, some stores such as TJ Maxx, Kohl's, they have a Starbucks. And while some of those probably don't seem like a big deal, in Maine, a lot of small towns just don't have most and or any of these stores, not even Starbucks. So when we're talking about trying to find a place that is super convenient and has a lot of these stores that people tend to go to on a regular basis, Biddeford checks a lot of those boxes for people. And while the city is within driving distance of a lot of the towns, in really all of the towns that we cover on this channel, there is something to be said for living in Biddeford right up the road from these places. All right, so I just wanted to take a second and show you guys this area of Biddeford. So on the right over here, we've got Target, TJ Maxx, there's a big Market Basket, Staples, Petco. Just past that on the right, there's a Michael's, a Panera, Verizon, Supercuts. There's a bunch of stores in that plaza as well. On the right, there's just a gas station, Cumberland Farms, and just past that, there is a huge Home Depot. There's an Applebee's over in that plaza as well as a Kohl's. On the right over here, we just have a car wash and an Aroma Joe's. And then just over this bridge, you'll see it in just a second, is a Walmart right before you get on the highway. And then farther down the road past that, you're gonna start to see the YMCA, Planet Fitness, Goodwill, some of those other stores. And now you can start to see that Walmart sign right over there. The next thing I want to talk about is the breweries in Biddeford. Southern Maine has a lot of breweries popping up all over the place, but Biddeford has a handful of them, and if that's something that you're into, then this could be a great area for you. The first brewing company is Banded Brewing Company. This place has great reviews. They opened in 2013, making it Biddeford's very first brewery. Next we have Blaze Brewing Company. It looks like they have a good sized menu of their beers. I'm actually wearing one of their sweatshirts right now. It was gifted to me. I've never actually been there, but from the looks of the place on Google, it definitely looks like it would be a great place to check out. Next we have Lucky Pigeon Brewing Company. This is actually Maine's first dedicated gluten-free brewery, which is awesome. We've got Batson River Brewing in Biddeford, Biddeford. It looks like they have a pretty cool tap room. They've got a good sized menu with lots of different options. We've also got Sacred Profane Brewery. They have a super cool tap room. I couldn't find a lot about the place online, but I'll insert some pictures here. Looks like it would be a great place to check out. All of these breweries are within maybe a 5 to 10 minute drive of one another, so it's super convenient if you wanted to go check them out. My next pro I want to talk about is Biddeford Pool. This is arguably one of the nicest places to live in Biddeford. I'll insert a clip here. All right, so this is some footage that I took in Biddeford earlier today. I wanted to just kind of show you guys around this particular part of Biddeford. The beach here is super beautiful. The houses are a little bit more spaced out than they are in areas such as Kennebunk, Wells, Agunquit, so that's definitely a plus. Though there is a bit of a lack of public parking in this particular part of Biddeford, so that's definitely something to consider when you're looking to vacation or live in the area. All right, so let's get into the cons of living in Biddeford. The first thing I want to talk about is their tax mill rate, which is $16.41 per thousand of the assessed value of your home. Now, this number is pretty high, but in comparison to past years, it's actually gone down quite a bit. At one point in time, a few years ago, it was over $20 per thousand. This is pretty comparable to a neighboring city, Sanford, which also has a relatively high mill rate in comparison to a lot of the small towns around these cities. But Biddeford has a ton of affordable housing, and regardless of the property taxes being a little bit higher, it still is considered affordable, and a lot of people come to the city regardless because of the initiatives that they're taking for affordable housing. The second con I want to talk about is the crime in Biddeford. Looking at bestplaces.net, Biddeford's violent crime rate is 28.3 compared to the US average of 22.7, which is obviously a little bit higher. Biddeford's property crime is 59.1, where the US average is 35.4, so that's a lot higher than the US average. You can see down below the comparison to other years in Biddeford and even to nearby cities. And while the crime rate is a little bit high, it's also important to note that the population in Biddeford is significantly larger than a lot of the towns in the area, so it's a bit of a given that the crime rate's going to be a little bit higher as well. All right, so those are our pros and cons of living in Biddeford, Maine. I hope you found this video helpful, and again, my name's Margaret, and if you need any help or have any questions about moving to Biddeford or any of the surrounding areas, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send an email, or schedule a Zoom. All that information's in the description below. See you next time.